Yeah, so Akron week. Today is the guys' day off, so they are taking care of their academic work and preparing themselves for this week as we head to Tuesday and get our team meetings started. So forward to that, excited about finally having game week here, and with that, open up for questions.
First question is from Mark Murphy.
Coach, Saturday night when the game is all done, what would make you a happy head coach as far as what you saw on the field?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I think that the number one is that we had a successful game, we won the game, but really right now, I mean, it's just our focus is how do we prepare ourselves to have a good week of practice. I don't want to put any predictions on the game, only because I have no idea what we're capable of doing this week, just as far as our focus goes and how we come out in practice. Could be our best week of practice. I hope that's the case. I hope that our performance throughout the week of preparation shows up in the game and that we play good football and, we don't have a lot of mistakes that we can't control. And, we went out there and played pretty clean. So, but really it starts with just our preparation, how we show up tomorrow, the type of focus that we have going into each practice this week, and then just the mindset that we're creating throughout the week of preparation leading into the game.
Next question, Justin Hokanson.
Hey, Bryan. Obviously, you're hired 8 months ago, and it seems like maybe it's been a long time getting to this first game. Just what are your feelings going into the first game and being able to step on that field Saturday night and kind of start your era at Auburn? What are your feelings?
Well, it's really the same. It just, I want to make sure we have a really good week, and I do mean that. I know from just past experience, when you have your preparation set up properly and it's executed properly throughout the week, usually when you get into the game, you feel prepared, and then it's just a matter of dealing with your opponent, and they're obviously going to have things that we haven't seen or maybe we haven't prepared for that we have to adjust. We've probably seen it somewhere along the way in camp from our defense or somebody on our team, special teams, offense-wise. And it's just a matter of recalling that and being able to make those adjustments as players and coaches. So the excitement really is just the week of prep leading into the game. And then, once we get to Saturday, it's just letting these guys cut loose and go play. And that's the fun part. That's the opportunity for all the work that that our players have put in, that the coaches have put in, to go out there for 4 hours and just, cut it loose and know it's not going to be perfect. We don't expect that, but what we do want to be able to do is respond and adjust the way that we practiced. And so if we, take a day off or take a period off or whatever that is throughout the week, that usually shows up. And you're seeing other teams play, so you can go back and watch some of these games that these other teams played before us. You can learn from them. There's things that some teams did really well. There's things that teams, obviously, I'm going to assume covered, but didn't go well. And so for us as a team, let's take that film and let's learn from it. Let's apply it to what we have to do, and let's be ready to go out there and play really clean football and play physical. So, those are things that we have to get done before we ever step on the field. And my biggest concern always is just the assumptions that's already going to happen, and that we'll show up and we'll be ready. And I know that that's not how it works. The preparation has to be there, the focus has to be there, and that's the main thing right now that we're spending time on, is just getting everybody dialed in for that.
Next question, Bennett Durando.
Hey, Bryan, what has impressed you about Shedrick during fall camp to sort of have him at the top of the depth chart, and how much are you expecting to sort of use a variety of receivers this week as they sort of get established into the offense?
Yeah, we're going to have to move guys around. So it's not just like one guy is going to play one position. And that's not how we operate our offense anyhow. You should be multiple. You should be the type of player at the wide receiver position that we can move and utilize in different spots on the offensive side of the ball. So, as far as Shedrick goes, he was hurt. And to have him back out there, he had some class issues. So there was just a little bit early on when I got here that it just hadn't panned out to have him out there each and every day like we wanted to. And then, but what I did learn about Shedrick, just being around him, was one, the guy's very sharp, very focused, very just diligent about how he goes about his process day in and day out. And so it was just a matter of time before we got him out there. He was going to emerge as one of our better guys and more consistent players. So we've seen that. Fully expect him to go out there this week and practice that way and then perform that way because he's been very consistent from that standpoint. And then, he gets his opportunities in the game to go make plays. He'll do that because he'll have himself, one, in the right position, two, he'll know what he's doing, and then three, from what I've seen, that's just how he operates, and fully expect the same out of him this week.
Next is Jordan Hill.
Bryan, just generally speaking with Akron, what has sort of stood out to you guys about them on both sides of the ball?
Well, one, let's talk about their offense here. So Cato Nelson, their quarterback that didn't play last year, returning from injury. He was the MVP in 2018. I think he's a very good player. I think he gives them a different dimension. So, having to, deal with him, his ability to make plays is a guy on the offensive side that we've got to be prepared for. They got some good players at wide receiver, Michael Matheson. Their running back, Anthony Williams, transfer from Michigan State. So we got to obviously know or learn more about him. We don't know that much from when he's been with them, but we do know who he is and can watch games from when he was at Michigan State. So, and they got a tight end transfer as well. Who's a big kid, 6'5", 250 pounds. So from an offensive standpoint, there's some good players out there, a few unknowns as far as just, what they're doing in their system right now because they transferred in. So that's something we're going to have to deal with. Defensively, some good players at linebacker. So Bubba Arslanian, I think I said that right, but had good stats from last year. Their corner, A.J. Watts, started since his freshman year, so there's experience at that position. And then they're expecting, I think, Bryce Wilson to come in and be the starter. Sounds like he's generated some buzz through fall camp at the nose position. And then special teams, they're solid. They're solid all the way around. There's some good players in the special teams department. So, the biggest thing is there's some unknowns. There's some new transfers in there. There's guys that have been injured that are coming back. Certainly last season was not a regular season for everybody. And so, I don't know what their practice plans were. I don't know how they were affected by last season. And so, you take what you know and you work on that throughout the week. And then you got to be prepared for some of these unknowns. And so really, all that being said, like it comes back to us. It comes back to, just what we do day in and day out, what our focus is. Are we doing the little things necessary to have great practices? Are we consistent throughout each meeting and each period that we have at practice? And then is that going to continue throughout the week? So, really the focus is on us and then knowing that we have some unknowns from Akron that we got to be prepared for.
Next, Justin Ferguson.
Bryan, you talked all through camp about wanting to find the consistency on the offensive line. How close do you think you guys have come to that, as you head into game week and with that first group?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we've had our moments in the scrimmages that I've seen. I think we played well at times. But the O-line is run blocking. It's also pass blocking. It's not cutting anybody loose. And so I think the O-line has done a better job of being consistent in those areas. And really the best test for our offensive line is going to be game day. And getting a chance to see those guys get out there, new front, different players that they haven't gone against. And then just seeing how we operate the run game, how we operate the pass game as far as protection goes, what our communication looks like from the interior players especially, and then just how we operate, each drive. So I think we've done some good things. We're certainly better than what we were at the beginning of camp. We are more consistent. I think getting a few guys back into the rotation on the offensive line has helped us. Getting some guys that didn't play this last year, like Council, getting him the reps, getting him in the mix, allowing him to just really get into that football shape that he wasn't able to do like some of the other guys did because of his injury, and allow us just more reps with 5 guys working together. But the ultimate really test and assessment is going to come on game day when we go out there and get a chance to do this live and against an opponent.
Next question, Jason Caldwell.
Ryan, you talked about Shedrick, and he's one of the older guys at wide receiver. I guess Demetrius Robertson and Javaris are 2 more of those guys. How valuable has that been? And I guess what have you seen from Javaris and Demetrius so far?
Yeah, Javaris, he's, we talk about consistency. I think that's been the most consistent player in the wide receiver room. It has been Javaris, and he comes out every day. He works hard. He knows what to do. I've seen him make some really good catches in practice. He's working on special teams and doing some things in those areas. But I like the consistency. I like his attitude. I like, when he makes a mistake, it matters, and he's working on it to correct it, and he usually does. He doesn't usually make the same mistake twice, so he's making new mistakes. Demetrius, I think I said this before, but he's done a heck of a job of just catching on to what we're doing. He's very bright. His study habits, I think, not just here in the building, but away from here, in his dorm room or whatever he has to do to get himself ready to go each and every day. I think he grasps things pretty well and has done a good job of putting himself in a position where he can move around. We can use him in different positions. And, that was one of the concerns always with the new player is, is he going to just have to learn one position and really lock into that? Or is he going to understand the system a little bit better so we can do more things with him? And I think he's done that. So, but both those guys, I think they bring a level of maturity to the practice field of just, hey, that rep didn't go well, line up, do it again. And don't just go out there and go through the motions. Let's get a good rep. We've got to execute it so we can get, our quarterback or whoever they're working with a really good look so that we feel better about that particular play. And both those guys have done that.
I guess a quick follow-up, just like Demetrius by Darius Knight had to come in and kind of learn things. What's allowed him to make this jump real quick?
You talking about Knighton?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the same thing. Knighton's played. That's the one thing about some of these guys that transfer in. I think one difference is they've been through fall camp. They've been through the learning curve. And so I think there's a better understanding of what to expect. Sometimes as a freshman, it's not so much that you can't learn it or, it's just so different necessarily. It's just something that they haven't been through before. And, once guys have been through something, once they understand, like, okay, this is how it is. These are the things that I have to do as a player to have myself ready each and every day. Like once you learn that, I think it makes that process of learning something new a little bit easier and you have more confidence in yourself. And I think these guys that transferred in that are older players, they know that they can learn it. They know the work necessary to do that. And, unlike a freshman where it's like, all right, how much do I have to do here? What is the expectation really of yourself? And those younger players are working through that. They're setting those right now. These older players know that. And so it's a matter of just this is what it's going to take for me to make sure that I'm prepared and ready. And I thought our transfer players and older players have done a pretty good job of that.
Next question from Alvaro Torres.
Hello, Coach Harsin, Alberto Torres from Ensoners, a Latin American network. Well, my question is, what are the main differences you have found between coaching Boise State and Auburn through this spring and summer? And what will you need to see from your team in order to leave the stadium happy?
Yeah, well, it's two different teams, and so I think that's one, I was at a place for quite some time, and here, coming in here and having the change, and then hiring a staff, creating a culture, and then obviously putting in new systems. That's been a main focus for most of the time that I've been here. And will continue to be. I mean, it's an everyday process of just making sure that the expectations are clear and everybody understands them, and that we all work to try to achieve that level of standard that goes along with those expectations. So it's constant teaching. Just this is how we do things, and I wouldn't say that's really any different than when I was at Boise either. Because as you're trying to achieve a goal, and you're trying to reach a level each and every day of a certain standard that we've set for ourselves, that never changes. That's something that we're always striving to do day in and day out. And so that's been the focus for our staff, been the focus for our team. And one of the biggest things that we have to fight every day is just complacency, and guys not showing up here and just having that sense of urgency. And if you don't have that and you want to be successful, it's going to be very difficult, in my opinion. So, just that day-to-day, that urgency, that focus, that ability to create a mindset for yourself each and every day that you got to show up with and be able to help you perform, that can help you perform at your very best. And take care of your responsibility that you've been given on this football team, and doing it to the best of your ability. And like I said before, as far as the game goes, hey, we have a great week of prep. We go out there and play good football. We take care of the things that we can control. Those are the things that I'm looking for as we head into the game. And, certainly seeing our guys too. I want to see, everybody wants to play 4 quarters. That's no different for us. We want to play a 4-quarter game. We want to be physical in that game. And when adversity hits, how do we respond? I think that's one thing. And we will face adversity. What does it look like on the sideline? How do we respond? What's the reaction of our players and coaches when we have some adversity hit? Are we going to handle it properly, or are we going to have to deal with some things that really have nothing to do with the game, and correct that before we get to the adjustments and what it's going to take to be more successful in those 4 quarters that we have a chance to play in. So time will tell, but those are some of the things that we're all going to have a chance to see through the game when the game is over.
Next question, Nathan King.
Hey, Bryan, I know you said you guys are off today, but can you kind of just walk us through what the rest of the week leading up to the game looks like for you in a game week? And are you guys going to be traveling somewhere else on Friday nights before home games?
Sure. Yeah, we'll come back. We'll practice on Tuesday. We'll have a team meeting on Tuesday. We'll have a practice, position meetings. And then when that's over, the players are out. They're preparing for the next day. We'll practice on Wednesday, so we'll be in full pads on Tuesday. We'll be in our shells on Wednesday. Thursday is usually a helmet day, but we're still getting work in. Friday will just be the travel squad guys. That'll be out there at that practice, and we'll hit some offense and defense. We'll do some special teams work. And then, yes, we'll travel. We'll stay at a hotel on Friday night. And we'll do all of our Friday meetings. We'll get up Saturday. We'll do our walkthrough, and then we get ready to play. And that's usually a typical week there. And when that game is over, we'll come back on Sunday and we'll start the whole thing over again.
Last question today is from Bill Cameron.
Coach, Tavares Dawson is the only true freshman on the two deep. What other freshmen do you feel like will have a chance to play and that you want to count on this year?
Well, this week it's just him. So some of these other young players, I think we got some good young players that are still working themselves into the two deep. I do think we'll see some of those younger players on special teams at times, but right now, I mean, yeah, Dawson has put himself in that position. I think he's been pretty consistent out of practice as far as just his effort and then understanding of what he needs to do. But we have some good young players that the way they're going to get themselves in the mix here is the consistency piece and the effort piece. And I think we've gotten better at that, but they're obviously not there yet. But we'll see through this week how some of those younger players, it's game week. And I think one thing about game week is, everybody's excited now because at the end of it, there's actually a game. And that's a reality. So, I fully expect our Tuesday practice, everybody has a chance in that 2 and 3-ish group that those guys are going hard and they're fighting for a spot and hopefully fighting for playing time. And, maybe we'll see some of those younger players have a chance to get into that 2 deep and contribute a little bit more than what this depth chart looks like.
All right, Coach. Appreciate your time today. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.